Hi, welcome once again to Vintage Recipes Cooking. This time, I'm going to be making a recipe that was posted by Christine for Watergate cake. It's a recipe of her grandmother's that she says is very popular around St. Patrick's Day. Considering it's made with pistachio nuts and pudding, and also green food coloring, I can see why. I've got my ingredients collected over here, and I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the recipe calls for the main cake takes 1 white cake mix, 1 package of pistachio nut pudding mix, 1 cup of oil, 3 eggs, chopped pecans, clove soda, and some green food color. Okay, the first part of the recipe says to combine the first ingredients and beat for 4 minutes on medium speed. So, we'll take our cake mix. And now add 1 package of pistachio pudding. Okay, measure out 1 cup of oil. And I'll get my 3 eggs ready. I'll add 3 eggs. And then 1/2 cup of chopped pecans. Finally, 1 cup of very bubbly club soda. Okay, that's how everything looks right now. All sort of put in there and bubbling a bit. And now we need to mix it for 4 minutes. It's looking pretty good and it smells great. Now at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of green food coloring. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but this food coloring, it just brings back a lot of good memories. I used to be fascinated with these as a kid. I just adored the food coloring. I think the idea that it just fascinated me, I think because of the fact that, I mean, inside the vial it always looks black. Even the yellow looks black, and then you get color. And of course the cap looks like a gnome's hat. So, mix this in. beautiful. Now I just need to grease and flour my catch-all decorative cake pan. And I'm cheating and I'm using the Crisco flour and grease all in one. It works really well and it saves a lot of time. Okay, just move my spatula. I'm really excited about this recipe. It's coming with a lot of good comments online. People really like the looks of it. And of course Christine and her family, it's very much tradition there. And I can't imagine that if it was a bad recipe that it would be used year after year. So this will go in the oven now for 55 minutes to an hour. And right in it goes. Set my timer, and I'll check back with you in just a bit when the cake's ready. Okay, the timer just went off. Let's take a look and see what we've got. That is lovely. Okay, I'm gonna let it cool on a wire rack. Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. Okay, gonna let this cool for a while, and then we'll put the icing on it. And we'll give it a shot. Okay, the cake is cooled sufficiently now to take care of doing the icing. So I've moved it over to my little cake carrier, and I'm going to set it aside for now while I mix up the icing. We need 2 packets of whipped topping mix, which was actually kind of hard to find. I don't think because it's not being carried, I just didn't know where to look for it. It seems that people tend to prefer the pre-mixed. I think whipped topping always tastes better when it's made with actual dairy products. So we've got our 2 packets mixed in there. And another packet of pistachio pudding mix. Okay. And 1.5 cups of cold milk. There we go. Now, we want to combine Now the recipe actually says to combine the whipped topping mix and the milk first and beat at high speed until it peaks, and then add the pudding mix and beat until fluffy. This is what happens when I'm distracted by a camera. So I'm just going to beat it together and hope that it works out. actually worked out pretty well. I think that's a lesson, one of the lessons I learned from my mother, is that when cooking, just because you mess up, it doesn't mean you gotta start over or the things are ruined. So, thanks, Mom. Gonna set this over here. Here's our cake. And let's start getting some goo put on there. Another tough lesson I had to learn as a child was that it is nearly impossible to get your icing to look like it does on the package. Although I tried very, very hard. That was a really tough lesson to learn as an 8-year-old. So, here we've got, as you can see, I've gotten much more relaxed in my icing habits as I've gotten older. If my 8-year-old self could see me doing this, he'd be appalled. The other hard lesson I had to learn was that no matter how hard you try, you are going to get icing on whatever you are serving your cake on. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Now, garnish it with some pecans. All right. And here we have the finished product. That looks really nice. I will cut a piece off and try it on camera for you after I get done with dinner. Okay. Turn the oven off. Okay. It's time to try the Watergate cake. First thing I noticed is that it probably could have used some more green food coloring. That's just, to me at least, is very pale green. Could be the lights. Especially if it's a St. Patrick's Day recipe. But let's go ahead. So warm. This is very tasty. It's a little bit drier than I expected. Not saying that's bad, it's just drier than I expected. Definitely taste the pistachio. The icing's kind of runny, but that's because I messed up, I'm sure. This is definitely a winner. I would make this and serve it to people. What else can you judge by? We'll see you next time. The first part of the recipe does not include a cat. Come on, kitty. And finally, 1 cup of club soda.